Awesome to be here. Thanks so much for having us. Amazing place.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming.
Let's talk about your relationship with Caitlyn. How did you guys first meet?
Caitlyn and I met through, we met about 3 years ago, through our makeup artist and our hairstylist.
So this is pre-announcement at Pepperdine?
This was pre-announcement at Pepperdine, yes. But at that point, I had told family, close friends.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
had been transitioning at that point for a few years.
So coincidentally, you were sharing the same hairdresser?
Yes.
Okay, and then the hairdresser introduced you?
Yep.
And did you talk about transition at that time with Caitlyn?
The hairdresser I told her what was going on. I said, I'm trying to grow my hair out. And she's like, why are you trying to grow your hair out? And I explained to her, I'm transitioning and would like to keep it going a little longer. And she said, oh my God, you won't believe who is another client. And I said, who? She said, Caitlyn Jenner. And, at the time I went to Pepperdine, but I lived in Beverly Hills at that time. And she introduced us and we kicked it off and developed a great relationship.
So was she really instrumental in assisting you through the process?
No, in some ways. I've read reports that Caitlyn paid for my sexual reassignment surgery or paid for gender-affirming surgeries. Not true at all. She was there for me emotionally, for sure. She would call and check up on me, but we weren't, in a relationship or really close as we were after I completed my transition.
Mm-hmm. So, and when did it become a romantic relationship?
I wouldn't describe it as a romantic relationship. I would describe our relationship as we're partners. We're business partners. I'm the executive director of her foundation. We have so much in common. We see the world so similarly, and we both are such a good match for each other because we challenge each other. She challenges me in so many ways, has allowed me to grow in so many ways, and I hope I challenge her to grow. And I think because we share so many of the same passions and views, it's just a great match, a great partnership.
Mm-hmm. But you are living together.
We do live together, yes.
Okay. So, just to kind of, it's the elephant in the room, a lot of people are wondering, is this romantic or is it not? I think it's kind of important just to kind of put that issue to bed rather than
I don't think it's that important.
No?
No, I think it's unfortunate that the media has fixated onto is it romantic or is it not? I don't think we need to talk about is it romantic or not. We're partners in everything we do. We're inseparable. We're business partners. We live together. We share a dog. We share family. We share a life together. But as far as caving into the media and having one of us label it as something, we're not going to do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things that perhaps are distracting from the trans issues that you guys want to advocate for is this, what do they call it, November, December, what do they call it when the relationship is, anyway, the age difference, 68 and 22. How do you feel about, there's a lot of focus on that. How do you explain how a 68-year-old and a 22-year-old could have such an intimate relationship as you guys have?
Well, it's unfortunate, again, that the media is so fixated on these sensationalized stories. Everything has to be a big sensation. And, I don't see age as a factor in our relationship. I see we are two souls that are a fantastic match for one another. And I feel that we're so blessed to have found each other and to be so supportive of one another in everything that we do. And, I feel beyond blessed that, we've been able to keep it going for the time we've been able to keep it going. I don't think of the age difference as anything. Caitlyn has more energy than me most days. Caitlyn's out playing 18 holes of golf and I'm like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. I just want to go chill,
Yeah. Well, I'm 19 years older than my fiance, and I get the same thing. I tend to have more energy than her, but not quite the difference of you guys. I did try to do some research, and I found Hugh Hefner was the only one I could identify with a bigger age gap than you two. So
The age gap is there, but we don't feel that it's there. I think the media feels that it's there because it is sensationalized. It sells papers, it sells articles, it sells clicks, but for us, it's not even a factor.
And what, we talk about sexual orientation. So if you're a trans woman with a trans woman, does that mean trans lesbian? Is that the right terminology for it? Or
I wouldn't even go down that road. I think that my sexual orientation is not something that I need to discuss. I think, I choose to be with someone based on the person, and the person happens to be a trans woman. And I think that's great.
had you ever dated a transgender person before?
I would not say we're dating. First of all, I would back up. I would say we are partners. I would not use the word girlfriend. I would not use the word dating. We're partners. And no, I had never been with anyone that was not a male.
So there's haters out there
Oh.
on the internet.
Yes.
Let's go through just a couple of them just to help you set the record straight. I mean, the obvious one is this is all for publicity. This relationship isn't real.
Not going to respond.
This was one that I found, hopefully you'll get a chuckle out of this one, but they say that, yes, Sophia transitioned. She transitioned to being a Kardashian.
A Kardashian? My goodness.
Well, I think they mean that in the sense that, now you are on Instagram and you are beautiful and out there, and I know they're saying you're model, perhaps you're not modeling, but there appear to be modeling pictures and so on, and suddenly you're in that type of world. Do you feel like you're in that type of world now?
No, I'm a businesswoman. Because I am pretty and I post a pretty picture on Instagram, suddenly I'm a model. And, hats off to the Kardashians and Jenners. They have channeled the ultimate power a woman could channel. They are all smart businesswomen. They are all extremely hard workers, and I look up to all of them. And I think, being raised by Bruce and being raised by Chris really influenced them, and I couldn't be more proud of all of them.
And do you have a relationship with his children and grandchildren? Her, sorry?
Yes. The family is all extremely nice to me, extremely welcoming. We just had lunch with Kylie and little Stormy yesterday. I feel very welcome.
That you connected with Caitlyn because you couldn't find a job.
Couldn't find a job. Okay. Well, I was the president of my class for 3 years. I interviewed at every bank on Wall Street, Goldman Sachs, Merrill Lynch, Credit Suisse, the list, JP Morgan Chase, the list goes on. I could have found a job. My job now is so much more fun, and I love that I'm at the intersection of entertainment, business, and philanthropy.
Yeah, let's talk about what you're doing as her manager.
Yeah.
What are you hoping to achieve by being her manager?
I've achieved a lot for her. Basically, our business is broken down in a few different segments. We have public speaking, we have media appearances, and then we have endorsement deals. And between me, our legal team, and our public relations team, we're able to get deals done really nicely between that team and myself managing our team. And, I think it's been fabulous.
So there's the business side of managing her, and then there's the advocacy side of
Yes.
managing her, right? So on the
Yes.
advocacy side, address that.
As her manager, I like to merge the two. I think everything Caitlyn does has to have a philanthropic twist. That means, for instance, the MAC deal that she did with MAC Cosmetics, Estee Lauder. There was the business side, and you're getting paid to license your name. But there is the philanthropic side where a percentage of all sales goes to the transgender, MAC's transgender initiative in the AIDS Fund. So things like that, when you get an endorsement deal, a percentage of proceeds or a percentage of profits or an annual guarantee of some kind goes to charity, I love blending those two things together. And I think because we are in the privileged position of the trans community, that's our obligation. That's my obligation as her business manager. That's her obligation, or it's not her obligation to do any philanthropy. But we're blessed to be in positions that we're in where we can do that.
Yeah, I mean, she is arguably the most famous transgender person
Yeah,
in the world.
definitely.
And with that comes obligations, I would imagine she feels and you feel.
She definitely feels a tremendous sense of obligation to helping the trans community because, as you know, the community is so marginalized. As the executive director of the foundation, where I spend most of my time is raising money. But on the flip side of that, what do we do when we have, a ton of money raised? We have to give it away. And I get to vet organizations to give it away too. And in the process of vetting those organizations, I'm looking over financial statements, I'm looking over 990s, you look over all these forms and balance sheets and income statements. And when you're looking through what these extremely marginalized organizations are running their operations on, and they're making such a difference in doing so, you really realize, wow, we have a tremendous responsibility to not only identify these organizations, but help them. Most trans organizations that we end up supporting have operating budgets under $10,000 a year. So, our donations are often the largest donations that they've ever received because they are the forgotten of the LGBT.
So it must be frustrating for you, though, to have the media so focused on the nature of the relationship between you two, and it's pushing aside the other things you guys want to.
It is. That is a frustration to me, but I do realize, like we said earlier, the media loves a sensationalized story. They love, the new Kardashian wannabe. Come on, no way.
What about they say engagement? No engagement.
If I was engaged, I would announce that I was engaged. If Caitlyn, and I were to be engaged, we would announce that. We're not ashamed of our relationship at all, but we do like to have some privacy, and that's something that we would decide when the time was right to announce.
So we've talked about what you're trying to achieve for Caitlyn. What about for yourself? You're now in this position of notoriety and being able to assist Caitlyn what she's doing. What do you hope to achieve for yourself ultimately?
Well, I think in what we are doing, I'm achieving a lot for myself. I don't know a lot of 22-year-olds that have done, $1 million endorsement deals. Do you? I don't know a lot of 22-year-olds that have found investors for companies and that have ultimately started companies. So I feel, I'm just adding a lot of experiences that are invaluable. But with those experiences, also being in the public eye kind of takes a toll on you if you let it. And I've learned, as we've been together, how to handle that in healthier ways. And let haters hate. You're not going to change the haters' minds, and you just keep doing what you know is right. In the end, you'll prevail.
So do you have a vision for yourself career-wise down the road? For instance, I've read, at one point you wanted to be a corporate finance lawyer. Another thing indicated that you might be interested in politics down the road. What do you envision for yourself down the road?
Politics, no. When I was younger, I did think a lot about politics. And when I say younger, I mean high school days. In high school, I was the state debate champion for 2 years in a row. I was nationally ranked for 3 years in a row. My high school experience was very different than most people's high school experience. I was on the road every weekend, literally every weekend, to the East Coast at a debate tournament and did extraordinarily well in debate. So I kind of thought, maybe I want to go down the law school political road. And then I got to college and I said, wait, I love business. I want to go on Wall Street. And then I met Caitlyn and I realized I can do business, do big deals, be a part of big projects. And then also in the entertainment world, I love it. I see my future as a businesswoman, as a philanthropist, as someone that gets shit done.
Well said. Sophia.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
So nice to meet you.